Hi everyone, welcome back to Diabetes Diet Guy. I'm Mark Green, specialist diabetes dietitian. If you're watching on YouTube, then welcome. But make sure you also check out the blog at diabetesdietguy.com, where we offer free advice to anyone with diabetes. And if you need a further helping hand, make sure you check out the programs and diet plan page, where we show you exactly what you need to do to manage your conditions. Now, today's video is about the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Now, it seems to be scary times. At the time of filming, we have around 1,000 cases in the UK with 21 deaths. And what we know is the 21 deaths have come in those most vulnerable, namely the elderly and people with chronic conditions. Now, looking in the media, it seems like there's mass hysteria. I've not been able to get a toilet roll for about 2 weeks. But also being within healthcare, I can see the measures that are being taken to make sure that this is under wraps. So we are definitely taking it seriously, and the hospital that I work in is essentially planning for the worst but hoping for the best, but making sure that we're prepared. Now, in terms of what we can do, I guess it's about trying to just take our due diligence in terms of trying to slow the spread of the disease. So making sure we're washing our hands, not making unnecessary trips. For example, I had a friend due over for dinner last night. He cancelled because he had had shortness of breath in the week but felt fine now. We decided it was best to leave it. So simple measures we can put in place to help just slow the spread of the disease is probably the best approach. I'm not too sure if we need to be in the mass hysteria as we're seeing in the media, and the reality is it probably needs to be somewhere in between, making sure that we're aware but not panicking. So I imagine, as we know, that people with long-term conditions tend to be particularly susceptible to this disease. So I just wanted to do a quick video about, one, trying to put a positive spin on this, and two, hopefully just reassure everyone that if you're doing the right things and taking care of yourself, generally you're going to be okay. Now, the positive spin I want to put on this is it really does highlight just how vulnerable we are as human beings. Now, there's no way anyone could have predicted this. It's come out of nowhere, and now we find ourselves in a situation where the government looks like they're going to shut down pretty much. Now, from my understanding, keeping in mind I'm not a medic, I'm not a public health scientist, is that we've gone past the prevention phase and we're now in the containment phase. And what the government is essentially trying to do is slow down the spread so that we can build some immunity to the disease by the time next winter hits. So if we just shut everything down right now, yes, it would contain it, but it might not necessarily make it go away. So then come November, when the disease rears its ugly head again, potentially, we may have a huge spike in numbers of admissions to the hospital, which would overwhelm the health service, not only in terms of bed space, but also delay those patients who need urgent care for other conditions that may get pushed back. So it has knock-on effects. So I think the idea is almost drip feed it into the community, which is why it's important that we all do our part. But in terms of a positive spin, as I say, it just shows how vulnerable we are as human beings. And a lot of us, myself included at times, neglect our health. It's kind of low on the priority list in terms of drinking alcohol, smoking, not exercising, not eating right, letting our weight get away from us. And we suddenly have this COVID-19 virus that's hit, and suddenly it's those exact people who are the most vulnerable. And it makes sense. The people that are the least fit and the most elderly are the most susceptible to such diseases. So for me, it's really a kick up the backside for myself, but also for people that I know, and some of my friends have also been messaging me about trying to get as active as possible, start eating right, and actually start looking after themselves a bit better. So I guess my message to you guys is almost to make almost not a plea, but use this as a reason to get on top of things, really start eating healthy, trying to get as active as possible and really looking after ourselves. If you have diabetes, chances are you will if you're watching this, then making sure that the blood sugars are as optimally managed as possible. If you're someone that's been neglecting it for a while and know that you could do more, maybe now's the time, because this really is a wake-up call to show us that maybe we need to be doing something as a nation, because we are, on the whole, quite an unhealthy nation. Obesity rates are very high, overweight rates are even higher, and these are all very preventable things. For the most part, what we can manage with simple, basic lifestyle interventions. So join me in trying to get as healthy as possible and stay safe. And I wish you all the best, and I'll come back with more blogs as soon as possible. I'll see you later.